Good evening. Namaskar. I, Dr. Gargi De, on behalf of Modoktrainer Academy, welcome everyone. Today, we have gathered here to attend the lecture. Our today's guest speaker, Dr. Rituporna Ghosh. She is from basically philosophical background. She did her post-graduation from Calcutta University, and after that, she did her second MA in Buddhism. Our today's topic, Tibetan Buddhism. Buddhism in Tibet. Presently, she is attached to Ramkrishna Mission Institute of Culture in the Department of Language as a teacher, language teacher of Tibetan. Along with her academic zeal, she is also attached to a project, postdoctoral project. Her PhD also from Calcutta University. She is very proficient in this field. I will request Dr. Ghosh to start her presentation. Dr. Ghosh, please.
Yes. Namaskar, Tasidele, all of you. At the beginning, I will chant our Shanti mantra, then I will present my paper. Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahanam Punaktu, Sahaviryam Kadvavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Good afternoon, and I want to extend a lot of thanks and warm welcome to each and every one of you who have joined us today, especially for Modoktrainer Academy who are organizing this lecture program. And I also want to give very special thanks to Gargi Di and Mr. Ganesh Modak. Now I will present my paper entitled Buddhism in Tibet. At the beginning, I want sharing my paper in the PowerPoint presentation. So I want to share my computer screen. My topic is Buddhism in Tibet. At the beginning, I want to say something about Tibet or Tibet. The name Tibet or Tibet is differently known to us as than anything else. Different thing, anything else that I think in the name of Tibet has a magical power to attract everyone. every person. Actually, I want to know the unknown things. So Tibet, one of the unknown subject. People have been curious to know about Tibet since long years ago. For this reason, Tibet became known as most mysterious land, queen of myths, etc. So people all over the world, especially Indian, eager to know about Tibet, its culture, religion, history, Buddhism, and its stories, mystery and myths, and environment, especially Koilas and Manas Sarovar. Actually, the Indian scholar, Indian people want to know Tibet because they think Tibet is the land of God. Many Puranas, epics, and ancient manuscripts mention frequently Tibet as another name, that is the Bhota Desa. We all know the Bhutis. Bhutis are the one type of Indian Himalayan people. They are living in Himachal, Arunachal, and Sikkim. Now they are recognizing Indian, but long years ago they came from Tibet to India, and they accepted India as their own motherland, as their own land. So Bhota Desa is the in mentioned in the Puranas, Tibet. Now, the second slide is the Guru's sister featured people relationship with India and Tibet. Some researchers said the relationship between Tibet and India developed after they introduced Buddhism in Tibet in 6th or 7th century AD. But some scholars do not agree with with this statement because they considered that long years ago, before the 6th century or 7th century AD, the relationship already started. Because from many years ago, a lot of Indian travelers visited Tibet, their place of God, land of Lord Shiva and Parvati, for their religious fulfillments. And at that time, Tibetan people also came India for their trade. Fulfillment fulfills their basic needs. And after 6th or 7th century AD, when slowly Tibet slowly illuminated and Buddhism reached into Tibet, from that time, Tibet considered to India as land of Lord Buddha, land of eminent and powerful gurus, land of holy scriptures, etc. Now we clearly understood the harmonious relationship between Tibet and India. In this picture, I have given to both side arrows for better understanding their relationship. So many scholars describe describe the relation as guru-sister relation or uh, teacher-student relationship. Actually, both of them can be called gurus one side and sisha on the other side. My paper divided into some subtopics. They are general survey of the history of Tibet, Bon, the ancient native religion, establishment of monarchy, introduced Buddhism in Tibet. Buddhism became a state religion, development Buddhism in Tibet. This is the first subtopic of my paper, general survey of the history of Tibet. The points are located in the heart of Asia, called roof of the world and land of snow. I think you all know why Tibet calls roof of the world and land of snow. And then highest plateau in the world, land of the amazing geography, religious people, and ancient tradition and culture. Ethnic religion was born, which encountered with Buddhism. Now, actually, many mountain peak forms border between Tibet and many other countries. So Tibet is a isolated country, landlocked country. This reason Tibet isolated from all the civilization till 6th century or 7th century AD. Just think about it when India and other countries writing on the light of civilization. At that time, Tibet was drowning in the darkness. She was totally uncivilized. She had no education, no culture, no literature, and also it is unbelievable that she had no writing script and even not any alphabet. But now Tibet is one of the most important country in the academic world. Suddenly, then uncivilized country called the treasure house of the academic world. At present, highest education person, professor, professors, teachers, researchers are involved in Tibetology, the study of Tibet. Can you imagine what happened? How is this possible? Yes, is possible, and she has a real story of success. Now it is more important question that how did she reach at the top of the academic world? Yes, I will tell the real story of her success. She gradually enlightened herself. The first ancient religion of Tibet was Bon religion. From the early stage to 6th century or 7th century AD, all Tibetan people practiced this Bon religion. Here I mentioned some features of Bon religion. Bon, the indigenous religion of religious tradition of Tibet, first known religion and before the introduction of Buddhism in Tibet, a system of shamanistic and animistic practice with mystic rituals, black magic, drumming, sacrifices, pantheon gods, and evil spirits, and the cult of the dead. The sun, moon, sky, and other natural elements were worshipped. Doctrine was transmitted orally from generation to generation. Followers of Bon, known as Bonpos, yes, they also used many mystic rituals like human sacrifices also. They performed many rituals for happiness. Their evil spirits. They offered to their deities fresh blood and flesh of animals and even humans. They use the blood and red colors on their face and bodies. They practice many types of black magics and other terrible rituals. Here I put here two pictures, one of the scary bone deities and another pictures, another rituals of them, that is the hanging of the dead animal. Now we are entering the main part of my paper. This is the bone versus Buddhism. Buddhism introduced in Tibet in the early of the 2nd century. It encountered the ancient native religion Bon, and Buddhism emerged the victor because of this reverence, because of the reverence and devotion of some Tibet's greatest king toward the teaching and principles of Buddhism. In Buddhism, prayer wheels, prayer flags, festival dances, and rubbing holy stones, etc., have all came from the Bon religion. Both have influenced each other, and large similarities are found everywhere. Bon survives today as a component part of Tibetan Buddhism. Now, in this slide, we easily say that Buddhism encountered Bon and it emerged the victor. But it is not easy, as we say. Conflicts between Bon and Buddhism lasted long, years after years. In the end, Buddhism won. After the Bon religion slowly merged with Buddhism, still today, many Buddhist monasteries, many Buddhist temples, and followers are found in the in not only Tibet but India also. Actually, Bon remains as a part of Buddhism. Actually, Indian Buddhism mixed with this Bon religion and created a new Buddhism in Tibet, that is Tibetan Buddhism. Tibetan Buddhism is not pure Indian Buddhism. It is mixed Buddhism, mixed with Bon religion. Then my second subtopic is establishment of monarchy. From the 7th century, Tibet entered epoch of the monarchy. 32 ruler namely Sangsang united and formed a powerful kingdom of Tibet. 33 ruler was a remarkable king, the great Songtsen Gampo. Indo-Tibetan cultural contact starts since the reign of the first historical king. Now, Buddhism nourished by three religious kings or Dharma Raja. Three Dharma Raja, three Chugal. Chugal. They are King Songsang Gampo, King Trisang Desang, and King Ralpachand. These three kings are very important of the history of the Tibetan Buddhism. They established Buddhism in Tibet. We will discuss one by one here. Then first religious king, King Songtsen Gampo, the first historical king of Tibet. For a cultured and civilized country, the intelligent king decides Buddhism should be introduced in Tibet. Songtsen Gampo was also inspired to the work for Buddhism by his two wives, a Nepalese princess and a Chinese princess. He built many Buddhist temples and monasteries in Tibet. Buddhism became state religion in Tibet. Tibet enters the picture of the Songtsen Gampo and his two wives, Nepalese princess and Chinese princess. Actually, the life story of the king Songtsen Gampo is very interesting, and this will be another topic. We will discuss any other lecture. King Songtsen Gampo. At that time, Tibet enters her classical age from the period of this noble king Songtsen Gampo, under whose leadership the Tibetan moved from barbarism to civilization. For this reason, he is called first Dharmaraja. After that, he considered as Avalokiteshvara, a special deity of Buddhism, and his two wives are considered two Tara Devi, that is White Tara and Green Tara, a Nepalese princess and Chinese princess. Actually, he was very intellectual and intelligent person. He was cultural, brave, creative, and also he had a sharp mind and tremendous future vision. Thus, he eager to introduce Buddhism in Tibet. Still today, lot of temples, statues in this king and his wife are found in Tibet and India. After knowing Buddhism, King sent one of his intelligent minister to India for introduce Buddhism and education and script in Tibet. Thonmi Samata, the minister name was Thonmi Samata. This is a famous and very famous personality in Tibetan Buddhism, a brave, talented young minister of the Emperor Songsan Gampo. Emperor sent him to India, from where literacy was brought to Tibet. He became expert in all the treatises on grammar and the five traditional sciences. He is the inventor of Tibetan script and first author of the Tibetan grammar. He considered as Manjushri the god of learning or god of wisdom. He is the father of Tibetan literature. In this slide, I put here Thangka painting of great minister Songsan Gampo. Thangka is the Tibetan traditional painting. In this Thangka painting, Tonmi Sambata invented the alphabet. Here one alphabet mentioned in this picture. Just think about it, about the king, how intelligent he was, how much positive energy he had. Thus he reached his goal. He created a bright history of Tibet, and he started the Indo-Tibetan cultural activity. Here I added some pictures so that you don't get bored. Buddhism came in Tibet. Buddhism became a state religion in whole Tibet. There is three provinces, Amdo, Kham, and Kusam. All darkness removed by the light of Buddhism, and Tibet become illuminated. But time is never the same. Slowly, Buddhism lost its importance because the Bon region again developed in Tibet. But then another king named Trisang Desang arose for the development of Buddhism again. And then into Tibetan cultural activity, great King Songsan Gampo was the man of culture. His interest in Buddhism appears to have been more cultural than religious. Founder of the Tibet civilization, culture, script, education, literature, and so on. All these activities mainly introduced from India by his great minister Sambhata. He acquired a fair knowledge of the Sanskrit. He introduced legal codes into Tibet prescribed by Buddhism. And then he started the translation activities. After compose the Tibetan alphabet, King and Thönmi started the work of translation the Indian Buddhist text into Tibetan. The very first text to be translated was Manikabam, which was a sort of encyclopedia about the mantra. It is said that the text Manikabam, translated by King, and the king invited scholars from India, Nepal, and China for improving the translation activity. Then King Trisang Desang. After Songsang Gampo, King Trisang Desang arose to develop Buddhism again. King Songsang Gampo's great grandson, Trisang Desang, the second religious king, he was great patron of Buddhism. He developed art and architecture, education, and literature. He invited Padmasambhava, Santa Raksita, Kamala Sila, Vimala Mitra, and various Indian teachers, and also sent young Tibetan scholars to India for training different subjects. Established Samye as the first Vihara in Tibet. A vast translation project was undertaken. This is the picture of the second religious king, Trisang Desan, and the first Buddhist monastery, Samye Monastery. Samye Monastery was the first important Buddhist monastery in Tibet. It was based on the Odantaguri Vihara in India. Then translation project was started a large scale in this monastery. King invited many great scholars from India to develop Buddhism and translation work. Santa Raksita, he was first explorer from the Bengal who took Buddhism in Tibet. Uh, this scholar, this scholar was the great Pandita and translator in Tibet. He was an important and influential Bengali Buddhist philosopher, particularly Tibetan Buddhist tradition. The story of the Santariksita is very interesting and long story indeed. Due to short time, I'll tell very briefly. Santaraksita came Tibet Santaraksita came Tibet of the invitation of the King Trisang Desang to develop Buddhism, and unfortunately he couldn't stay in the Tibet at all because the very much dangerous black magic of Bon followers. At that time, he thought about his brother-in-law, Guru Padmasambhava, who was a great Indian Tandic Pandit and master. Uh, he he has um, uh, he has tremendous magical power. Santaraksita invited Padmasambhava, who defeated Bon with his magical power and tantric power. Then they entered in Tibet. This is the Thangka painting of Padmasambhava. He was also called Guru Rinpoche or Precious Master, second Buddha, Tangye Nipa. With his tantric powers, he defeated the followers of Bon and converted them into Buddhism. The sentence is very important. He converted them into Buddhism. He did not kill them and he did not destroy them. For this reason, Tibetan people call him the second Buddha. He introduced Vajrayana Buddhism in Tibet. He was the founder of the famous and old sect Nimapa sect in Tibet. After they entered in Tibet, uh, associated with Santaraksita and Padmasambhava and many Panditas and emperor, they established a strong foundation of Buddhism with the monastic system. They established a lot of translation center in Tibet. Established translation centers without translation of a original discourses into local language, it would be impossible for Tibetans to have access the riches of Buddhist literature. A huge number of Indian texts are translated into Tibetan. These works include five major fields of studies, the Pancha Mahavidya, and the five minor fields of studies, Pancha Laghu Vidyas. The quality of translation was increased. Now, the picture of the Thangka, another Thangka painting of previous third religious king Ralpachen. He was he was the third religious king or third Dharmaraja in Tibet for the development of Buddhism. The third religious king, a grandson of King Trisang Desang, he was large supporter of Buddhism and did a great deal for propagation of Buddhism. He set up a permanent commission. Permanent commission, the important word. He set up a permanent commission for the translation of the scriptures, which laid down rules of the translation. Commission compiled a glossary, which still exists, of the Buddhist terms in Sanskrit and Tibetan. This is very important text. Now, the name of the text is Mahabhutpatti. This is very important for translation. The commission decided that the translation made with word-to-word literal translation, not abstract translation. This is also another important point, word-to-word literal translation. That time, other Chinese translation and other translation was abstract translation, but Tibetan translation was word-to-word literal translation. For this reason, Tibetan translation or Tibetan manuscript are so much important, uh, uh, important, mm, important manuscript and important translation. He established more temples and monasteries, reconstruct older temples, and he also encouraged Buddhist art and craft. Then again, Buddhism entered his dark days of Buddhism. After Rinpoche, Buddhism entered the dark days. Rinpoche was murdered at the age of 48 by his own brother Langdharma. Langdharma was entirely opposed to Buddhism and follower of Bon. He destroyed the doctrine along with many Buddhist monasteries, temples, statues, etc. Only few faithful followers kept the flame of the Dharma alive in those dark days. After long years, Tibetan Buddhism came out from those dark days, and revival of the Buddhism. This is very much important. Revival of the Buddhism in Tibet. In the 11th century AD, after the advent of Atis Dipankara, the Dharma came out in those dark days and again developed the Indo-Tibetan cultural contact. The Tibetan Chronicle started then a new chapter of the development of the Tibetan Buddhism. This is the second propagation of Buddhism. Now, Srigyana Atisha Dipankara here. Dipankara Srigyana Atisha was born in Bengal into a royal family that was linked to Santaraksita's family. He came to Tibet and stayed until his death. He encouraged the more translation work of many important Buddhist texts, assisted by the well-versed Tibetan Losavas or translators. He composed a monumental work in Buddhism. Now, this is another Thangka painting of Atis Dipankara and another image of the Atis Dipankara. And after that, throughout the centuries, after Atisha's death, Buddhism and Indian Buddhist Pandits continued to flourish in Tibet. At that time, so many books were translated into Tibetan in collaboration with the eminent Losavas. Tibetan translation process and xylograph and manuscript. Actually, Tibetan manuscripts are called xylograph. Xylograph. It is made up of thin wooden plates. In this picture, they carved some sutras. These thin wooden plates, or they made some blocks of the sutras. After that, they filled ink in the wooden blocks and printed on the paper, and then they create the paper manuscript. Now the manuscript or xylographs storage in the monastery. Here I added some Tibetan xylograph or printed manuscripts. So we clearly understood Tibetan scholars, with the help of Indian Panditas, translated thousands and thousands texts. These texts are not only Buddhist texts, but also each and every subject related text like chemistry, mathematics, history, medicine, Ayurveda, grammar, etc. etc. After translated these texts, they carefully preserved them in the secret place of their monasteries. Just imagine all these texts are how much important to us, because most of the texts were lost from India. We all know the tragic history of the Indian ancient universities and their libraries, all destroyed by Hun and Muslim invasion. And now, after retranslation, this text, we can get back our lost history. Now, we can clearly understand why Tibet is called treasure house of the academic world. Thank you.
ম্যাডাম স্ক্রিন শেয়ারিংটা স্টপ করুন।
Thank you, madam. It was a nice presentation, and we are really enlightened by your deliberation. Now the session is open for questionnaires. If anybody has any question, 2-3 questions we can entertain. So if anybody has any question, they can ask madam. Any question, please? Otherwise, we will conclude the session.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes.
My name is Ghosh. I am from Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Uh, can I continue in Hindi? You can understand me.
Yes, yes.
No, because my English is not so good as you people. I can understand what she explained and very well explained. So many things I came to know. This is जो मैं पहले बहुत नहीं जानता था इनके बारे में मुझे इतना पता था मैं दलाई लामा को ही जानता था उसके आगे मैं कुछ नहीं जानता था कि तिब्बत से दलाई लामा जो मैं उनको फॉलो करता था मैंने उनके काफ़ी सारे बुक पढ़ी है और मैं थोड़ा ये जानना चाहता था कि इसमें जब आज आपने तिब्बतियन बुद्धिज्म के बारे में बताया तो और कितने प्रकार के बुद्धिज्म है मुझे वो जानना और इंडिया में और बाकी सारी कंट्रीज में जो तिब्बत के अलावा बाकी सारी कंट्रीज में तो बुद्धिज्म जो फॉलो करते हैं उसमें और तिब्बत में और इंडिया में क्या डिफरेंसेस है
Okay, actually, Buddhism basically two division. There is the Stobirvada or Theravada and Mahayana difference. In Tibetan Buddhism is one kind of Mahayana Buddhism, but in Burma, Myanmar, and Sri Lanka they follow the Theravada or Stobirvada Buddhism.
Okay.
And there are different type of Buddhism. In Japan, there is a Jain Buddhism. In China, Chinese Buddhism. In Tibet, Tibetan Buddhism. In Mongolia, Mongolian Buddhism. Uh, there are two parts. आप समझेंगे क्या उत्तर दिशा में जो गए हैं वो महाजन बुद्धिज्म है और नॉर्थ और साउथ में जो आए हैं वो थेरावादा और सविकवादा है. ये दो डिवीजन है इसमें.
बुद्धिज्म तो बेसिकली यहीं से गया है ना.
हाँ, इंडिया से ही गया है.
तो इंडिया में तो जितना जो मैंने पढ़ा है उसमें जो बुद्ध के जो पहले जो शिष्य थे वो मेरे ख्याल से 8 शिष्य थे पायनियर, जिनको उन्होंने पहले 8 शिष्य को जिन्होंने ज्ञान दिया और उनको फिर आगे एक्सप्लोर करने के लिए भेजा कि भाई आप इसको जाओ और उसको दुनिया में फैलाओ, इस ज्ञान का प्रचार करो. तो 8 में से यहाँ पे कितने सर बाकी जो इतने सारे जो है वो 8 के द्वारा फैलाए गए हैं या डायरेक्ट बुद्ध के द्वारा फैलाया गया है?
नहीं, डायरेक्ट बुद्ध के द्वारा नहीं हुआ. वो बुद्ध के जाने के बाद जो सेक्ट की डिवीजन हुआ है वो बुद्ध के जो वाणी है वो डिफरेंट सोच में आ गया और डिफरेंट सेक्ट में भाग हो गया है उसमें. तो बाद में धीरे धीरे वो डिवाइड सेक्ट के रूप में आ रहे हैं.
अच्छा, तो उसमें से जो कोरिया जापान में है जो वो अलग है और तिब्बत में
अलग है. वो महाजन बुद्धिज्म का पार्ट है और बर्मा, श्रीलंका, म्यांमार इसमें जो बुद्धिज्म आता है वो थेरावाद और सोबिलवाद का पार्ट.
अच्छा, और
इंडियन में बहुत है. अपर हिमाचल और अरुणाचल, सिक्किम इसमें महाजन फॉलो करते हैं, वो तिब्बतन बुद्धिज्म फॉलो करते हैं. और अभी तो इंडिया में बहुत ही है, दोनों ही है इंडिया.
I'm just interrupting. I feel that total Himalaya region they practice tantric Buddhism basically, and in Tibet also.
ओके, हाँ वो तो तिब्बत का थोड़ा असर.
Am I right, madam?
हाँ सही है, वो सही है, मेरे ख्याल से सही है.
All are not practice tantric Buddhism. There are different kind of Buddhism. There is Vajrayana, not tantric Buddhism actually. Mahayana Buddhism, we can say the Mahayana Buddhism, not tantric Buddhism properly. We can't say tantric. Actually, mixed Buddhism. There are Vajrayana, Mantrajana, Kalochakrajana. There are different sects. They practice all of the different things. Mixed practice. Bone and Buddhism. One kind of Tibetan practice. Tibetan Buddhism, that is the Bone religion, and Indian basically Bengal Buddhism, that is the Tantric Buddhism. Not only pure Tantric Buddhism, but this is the mixed Buddhism with bone religion and other mixed Buddhism they followed in upper region Himachal. They are not followed Tantric Buddhism only.
मैडम अभी थोड़ा करंट अफेयर्स में जो इश्यूज जो चल रहे हैं कंट्री में, जो कन्वर्जन को लेके, जो बुद्धिज्म में कन्वर्जन को लेके, तो ये किस प्रकार का बुद्धिज्म है? थोड़ा सा कंट्रोवर्शियल है, मगर अभी मैं हमारे अहमदाबाद में भी इवन दो बहुत कुछ ऐसे लोग एक्टिविस्ट हो गए हैं, मगर वो जितना आपने बुद्धिज्म के बारे में बताया, जितना मैंने पढ़ा है, जितना मेरा मोदक जी के बारे साथ में भी चर्चा होती रहती है, उतना तो मेरे ख्याल से वो लोग भी नहीं जानते. मगर जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ दे फॉलो बाबा साहब आम्बेडकर एंड बाबा साहब आम्बेडकर कन्वर्ट हिमसेल्फ इनटू बुद्धिज्म, जस्ट बस उतना ही उनको पता है कि बस उन्होंने किया था, हमको करना है और हमको करवाना है. उनको जब ये सवाल पूछते हैं तो जितना आपके थ्रू जानने को मिला, उनका 1% भी उनके थ्रू जानने को नहीं मिला. तो इसलिए मैंने पूछा कि इंडिया में कौन सा बुद्धिज्म है कि जो अपना छोड़ के बाकी सबकी बात करते हैं. बाकी हर जगह तो
इंडिया में महाजन और हिनजन और थेरावाद और सोबिलवाद बोथ है. अपर पोर्शन में महाजन फॉलो करते हैं और साउथ पोर्शन में वो लोग हिंदुइज्म और स्थविरवाद फॉलो करते हैं। अभी इन इन साउथ में भी बहुत सारे टिबेटन बुद्धिज्म का मोनास्ट्री है, एंड उत्तरांचल में भी बहुत सारे थेरवादी का मोनास्ट्री है, तो दोनों फॉलो करते हैं इंडिया में।
गुजरात में भी है, गुजरात में भी नॉर्थ गुजरात में, हमारे यहाँ नॉर्थ गुजरात में भी बुद्धिस्ट के काफी सारे स्तूप है जो सम्राट अशोक के समय के हैं, सम्राट अशोक और बिंबिसार के समय के हैं। तो वो जो फॉलो करते थे वैसे मेरे नॉलेज के लिए कि क्योंकि दो थियरी चलती है।
अशोक जो फॉलो करते हैं, अशोकन वो थेरवाद का ज्यादा मायने रखते हैं। अशोक
पर एक थियरी जो
बुद्धिज्म
आपने बोला ये है कि सम्राट अशोक ये करते हैं आफ्टर फिनिश कलिंगा वॉर, और जो मैंने गवर्नमेंट आईकार्ड से जो जितना जो पब्लिश्ड है उतना जो लिटरेचर मैंने थोड़ा बहुत मैंने ओवरव्यू किया है, पढ़ा तो नहीं है डिटेल में, ओवरव्यू किया है, तो उसमें कहीं पे भी ऐसा नहीं है कि सम्राट अशोक ने बुद्धिज्म को अपनाया था। हाँ, बुद्धिज्म को उन्होंने रीएस्टेब्लिश किया था, जो डैमेज हुआ था बीच में उनके शासन में आने से पहले तक जो डैमेज हुआ था, ये जो सारे स्तूप जो बनाए हैं वो सम्राट अशोक ने बनाए हैं, मगर उन्होंने कभी वो बुद्धिज्म बुद्धिज्म में कन्वर्ट हुए हैं ऐसा कहीं रिटर्न हिस्ट्री में नहीं है, एजुकेशन हिस्ट्री के अलावा, एनसीईआरटी के अलावा।
हाँ ठीक ही बोल रहे हैं, ठीक है, सही है।
तो दोनों का से कौन सी